Searching for cheap flights can be one of them things that becomes really difficult, and there's loads of information about it, and you never actually know if you're going to be getting the cheapest flight or not. Now in today's video, I'm going to be making sure that you guys are essentially getting the best information when it comes to getting cheap flights. Me and I know I've been traveling almost every month for the last 3 years, so it's safe to say we've learned a thing or two about getting cheaper flights. Expect to learn everything from how flight companies use your data to bump up flight prices, and how to get 2 holidays for the price of 1. So make sure you stick around, because I'm going to be giving you guys some top flight finding hacks that will ensure that you're getting the best prices. So to make this video a little bit more digestible, a little bit easier to view, I'm going to be breaking it down into maybe 4 different sections. These are going to be where to search, when to search, the type of flights to search, and at the end I'm going to be giving you some top tips and hacks. So the first one we're going to be going over is where to search. So this is what websites you use, where you're looking, are you going direct, are you going through third parties, all of that kind of stuff. And what we found is that there's a few companies that are really good when it comes to booking flights, that use loads of really cool features and don't take stupid fees on top of booking prices. So the 3 that we mainly use are Google Flights, Eddie Travels, and Skyscanner. Now you may have heard of Google Flights before, but this is an absolute gem when it comes to booking flights. It is literally the easiest and best way to find cheap flights. So when you open up Google Flights, this is exactly what you're going to see. So let's just look here. Let's say we're going from London, where we're based, let's say to anywhere in the world. Let's say one way for the sake of this. We won't set a departure date or anything like that. We'll just see what kind of things it's going to give us. So what you'll get is essentially a map of the entire world and the places that you might be able to fly to. So you can just search around, have a look at different areas. I like the fact it's a map, because a lot of people don't know necessarily where they want to go, but if they can see it on a map, I'm like, oh, I didn't know this place existed. It makes it a lot easier to find new destinations. So if we head into Europe, for example, you're going to see tons and tons of super cheap flights. Like, are you kidding me? £15. It costs more on ULEZ charge to drive around London than it does to fly halfway across the world. It's like, it is just, yeah, it's very good. But of course, you can set flight specific to location. So say we wanted to go to New York, for example, you can pick any of the airlines that you want to go to, and it will give you the cheapest options on certain dates. So here you got £160, and it even gives you this little line here so you can see where you'd be flying to. But it also offers you suggested trips. So here are some of the ones that it suggests. The next one that we have is Eddie Travels. Eddie Travels is an AI-based platform that essentially searches the web for all different flight prices surrounding with the information that you give it, and gives you a load of different options based on the criteria, which is decent because it stops you having to look all over the internet, have 17 different tabs open, comparing different flight prices. This is what Eddie Travels looks like when you first get it up. Of course, you can create an account, but if you don't want to, you're more than welcome to scroll down and just try it. All you have to do is select your language, click on the flight section, choose a location that you want to fly to, let's say London, to let's say Barcelona, which is a common one that we go to, let's say from Tuesday to Monday, for example, and it's going to give you the cheapest flights for those dates. So that's pretty much how that one works, and we use this all the time to get cheap flights. And lastly, we have Skyscanner. Similar situation, add in where you're going from, the location you'd like to go to. You can pick the dates, which makes it super simple for you. It will even give you color-coded date options based on price, so with the key above here. Click apply, and of course you're going to get loads of different deals for different flight prices. Look at that, £44 return. You can also change different flight companies, and you can choose the airports that you might fly from as well. Overall, pretty solid company. Now, when it comes to when to book your flights, there's actually a secret about the best days that you can actually book flights and how long in advance you should book them to maximize on cheap prices. So what we've noticed is there's an absolute sweet spot in how in advance you're going to book these flights. And it seems to us that booking at an absolute minimum 3 weeks before, but an absolute maximum of 3 months before, is a great way to get that honeypot sweet site where you're going to get all of the best flight prices. And as well as that, we've noticed that Tuesdays tend to be the cheapest day of the week to fly. And I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Tuesday, it's not a weekend, it's not a Monday when you might be flying back after a weekend, and overall it's just a really cheap day. And of course, as you might have guessed, the most expensive days are around the weekend, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday when people normally come back. So if you can, avoid those days. But there's things you can do anyway to mitigate the prices. And that's when we move on to the type of flight that you're booking. So a big question in booking flights is, do you book a return all at once? Do you book individual flights? Are you going to stop over anywhere? And I think I've got the answers to those questions. So one-way flights tend to be cheaper. And the reason for that is when you're booking returns, they tend to only give you the options to fly returns with that airline. Of course, they're not going to sell tickets for anyone else. And what that might mean is you're not getting the best price for the going out or coming back flight. So as a rule of thumb, it's way better option to actually book as individual one-way flights. Have two tabs open on your laptop, one goes going out, one coming in, and book them as separates, because a lot of the time, different airlines are going to offer different deals. Next, we're going to be talking about stopovers. So stopovers is when you fly to another country before you go to your final destination. And this is a little secret about how you can actually get 2 flights for the price of 1. In fact, cheaper. So airline companies see stopovers as a lot more inconvenient because you're normally getting longer flight times to stop off somewhere before you go to your final stop. But for people who enjoy traveling, a stopovers can be a blessing. It means you get to explore in a country maybe a day or 2 that you wouldn't have got to know otherwise for cheaper prices than if you just booked direct. So it means you're getting all the benefits of 2 countries and you're getting a discount. A factor that affects the fact that direct flights are a lot more expensive is obviously the convenience, but popular business routes and routes that people fly regularly tend to be more expensive. If you don't know, flights work on a model where it's a supply and demand type thing. So the more people searching for a flight, the more demand for a flight, the more expensive the tickets are going to be. And for popular business routes, for example, people are going to be paying more because they know that these business people are going to be willing to pay more for their flights. And the last type of flight that you might consider is flying close to your destination and getting a budget airline into that destination. And hear me out here. The reason this makes flights cheaper is because sometimes areas surrounding your location are a lot cheaper to fly to. And then there's a budget airline running from that country to the city close by for a lot cheaper. Next, we're going to be talking about the top tips and hacks that are going to make it a lot easier for you to book cheaper flights. And the first one is the use of VPNs. VPNs are a way of hiding your online location. When you use a VPN, it gives you an IP address that appears like you're in a different place. Now you might wonder, what's that got anything to do with flights? And if you didn't know, flight prices change based on the different country that you're booking from. So countries that are lower income, for example, are going to have cheaper flights. But it's not just lower income places. Sometimes if you're booking flights as if you was in a different country like the UK instead of the US, for example, but the flights are the exact same, they can be even up to £100 cheaper. And just experiment putting your home address as different countries and seeing what the flight prices are like. You'd be surprised with the difference it can actually make. So that's it. Now you guys know A to Z how to book cheaper flights. And now we're going to be saving tons of money in all of your bookings. So if you enjoy the video or you appreciate what we've got to say, I'd appreciate a like on the video and subscribe down below for more content like this. Happy travels.